Well, here we go. Holler if I hit something, guys. That good. Kind of stuck on my board there, and popped the little plastic thing off, but didn't hurt nothing. Well, I pulled a valve cover off of here, and I thought this motor had never been started. But I can see old oil here. It's black, and got some of the push rods are kind of rusty. They turn over. They spin. They're all free. Got a little play in the valves. That's why I didn't. The other side looked about the same. But everything's all turning in here, and the gaskets, it's been squished. That's obviously not a new gasket, but it's clean in here. It's all been wiped out. So they may have just reused this old gasket on these valve covers, but I really can't tell what they did. But there is some dirt here in the valves. The motor itself don't look bad at all. It's not it's got anything bad in it. Who knows, they might have put rings in it, bearings. Kind of hard to tell. I had a lot of water in the bottom, so I'm not going to go any further on this. I'm just going to put this valve cover back on, and I'm going to pull that oil pan and see what we got in the bottom. Well, this killed the idea that it was never been started, the motor. Got quite a bit of water in there. Don't look like a lot of it was on the crank. But it did sit here in this oil pump. It's kind of greasy. Can't really tell too much about the cylinder walls here. There's one there that's all the way up. Here's another one's all the way down. These two here is probably going to be the worst. These would be the next to the worst. but it's definitely not a new rebuilt motor. Rebuilt, who knows? We will see. But it looks pretty bad. I'll get some kind of cardboard out here to kind of catch this stuff and try to blow it all off with air to start with. I probably ought to just pressure wash the whole thing. As far as I can tell, the cam looks okay, but nothing good here. At least there's nothing real bad. I'm gonna clean it up best I can, and I'll try to, you know, PB blaster everything in here. I ordered new gaskets for the pan and manifold and valve cover, so that'll all be coming. But I guess the main thing here is try to do this without making too much of a mess here in my driveway. Well, I tried to get what I could out. Not much came out on the cardboard. I've got this turned to an angle. It is draining some of the water out. I'm going to take a pressure washer to this. Figure I got much to lose here. Try to get all that grease and junk and rust and stuff out from this side, and then I'll flip it over, try it from the other side. Well, let's see what happens. Alright. So I'm going to turn it over to the other side now. look like it took much. Knocked the big oil off is about it. Well, here's the plugs on the passenger side. They don't look too bad. Kind of a tan color, burning pretty clean. Looks like this rear one might be maybe burning a little oil, but not bad at all, really. The exhaust manifolds look real good. I can see it's real clean right in here. Still got some kind of a silicone on it. And if this thing would have been run very much at all, this would have a lot of carbon on it. Looks like we got a couple holes here that weren't being used. I'm not sure whether this exhaust manifold even fits. There's a show of bolts in the top. No, I ain't got nothing in the bottom. Something was in here. Don't know what that is, but apparently it's not needed. Driver's side, we have basically the same thing. Kind of tan electrodes. Don't look like it was burning any oil or anything. I squirted it full of PB blaster while the pistons are up. I'll go ahead and pull this exhaust manifold, see what we got. Once I get that done, I'll try to keep from just showing you the floor. Don't want to start. There it is. Pull this manifold, have a look at it. When we get that done, I'm gonna flip it over to the bottom here and pull the rod caps and put some oil in it, and then we're gonna try to turn it over and see if these see what these rings are like. By the way, kind of a funny little comment. The guy I bought it from told me, he says, "Oh yeah, it's got good compression." He says, "It's a built motor, you know, it's got great compression." I said, "Well, did you try to start it?" "Oh no, we don't have a transmission or a starter." I says, "Well, how'd you determine the compression?" "Oh, we turned it over with a torque wrench on the front. It's got great compression. You can hear it sucking inside." I go, "Yeah, that's a sure a good way to test it, whether it has compression or not." Well, bearings don't look too good. I see signs of copper in there. I don't see any scores. I can feel a little bit of stuff. It had water in it, of course. These are two sticking down the lowest. So I'm just going to pull these off and clean them from one side, put them back in, And I can probably get to these two here as well, and then I'll rotate the engine where I get to the other two, and I'm just going to clean them up, put some oil in them. So from the looks of the plugs, the rings are alright. Who knows what happened after setting in water. This would be the time to do it, but I'm not after a brand new motor. Timing chain looks good, looks pretty new. You can't tell. They might have just reused the old bearings. Who knows? They said rebuilt. I see signs of fresh stuff, but no cigar. Not a rebuilt motor. But anyway, I'm just going to oil it all up, make sure I don't do any harm turning it over. Continue. Well, I got it done. I loosened up all the rods. They look pretty good. I could see some copper in a couple of them, so it needs rod bearings. But I cleaned them all up, got the water out of them, and rotated the motor around. It's got one little tight spot, probably right where it was sitting. It's about 1/8 of a turn, but I worked it back and forth, got it through the tough spot, and motor turns over good. It's one of the things I saved from the fire, an adjustable torque wrench, but it has a aluminum collar in here that locks it in place. Of course, that's all melted, but it's still a good breaker bar. It was kind of a job, but I got it turned over, and I can hear as I'm turning it, it's got compression. You can hear it leaking past the rings. So I'm pretty sure this motor's good. It's not going to be worth pulling it completely apart and putting rings in it. And it's got some pretty new looking gaskets, so I don't know what they did, but they didn't put bearings in it. So I'm going to put a set of main rod bearings in it. I'm going to let the cylinders go. I wish I had a bore scope. I could look in there and see if there's anything wrong, but I think it's good as is. The pan, the reason the water was leaking out of the pan when I had it tilted up, it only had 4 bolts on it. It was just stuck on, and so water was just pouring out of the back of the pan. But new gaskets will fix all that. Major problem here is getting bell housing that'll fit this, or transmission. Sure different than a 707 normal block, but I'll persevere, try to find something. I got that little 350 over here. My guy next door, he's an old man, restores old cars, and he wanted that 350, and he said he thought he might know where somebody was that had a 360 transmission. So I just gave him the motor, hopefully I'll just get a transmission. Anyway, when I put the bearings in it, first thing I'll do is take out the front and back mains and blow through that crankshaft, try to clean out everything I can. I've got the oil pump out here. I'll clean it up, blow it out, clean up that screen. The pan don't look bad, got a little rust marks in it, but basically it looks pretty clean. So I think this will be good enough for my rat rod. I still got a long ways before I put a motor in it. I'm going to try to get that cowl and doors mounted first. Then I can see where all this stuff's going. I could kind of lift the motor in there, but it's sort of hard. One guy, I have to move this thing around with a crowbar, so have to be real slow.